So you used to read when you were younger or when you had more time and you stopped reading. What happened? And I ask as somebody who's experienced that exact same thing. When I was younger, I used to read so much to a point that my parents had to literally fight me to detach myself from my book at the dinner table while eating. Nothing could get between me and my books. I used to read a lot of, the Hardy Boys, Sherlock Holmes. There were so many books. I was such a good reader. I had an amazing vocabulary. True story. I was sitting in an airplane. I was talking to my dad and just holding a normal conversation. And the person behind me literally tapped on my shoulder to tell me that they loved my vocabulary. The words. I used to use crazy words. And how much I read and the quality of the books that I read really showed up in how I presented myself in the conversations I held and the way I talked to people. And I really missed that because somewhere between high school and college, I just fell off of reading and I fell into a never-ending vortex of making excuses. I don't have enough time. I'm too busy. Because come on. I am of the belief, and I really do stand by it, that people who really want to read, who really want to do whatever it is that they want to do, work out more, eat better food, whatever it is, they will do it. They will find a way to do it. They will make time for things that they really care about. And that was something that I had to learn myself. I fell off of reading somewhere between high school and undergrad. So during my undergrad, I think sophomore, junior year, I signed myself up I was a marketing major for more context, but I took a few writing and literature classes to kind of keep that side alive as much as I really could. So I signed up for this class, which introduced me to amazing, writers. Joan Didion and Roxane Gay were two of the many writers that we were introduced to. And the class was called American Women Writers. It was such an amazing class and it almost got me back into reading, but not really. It was definitely an advanced class because I found myself having to reread the excerpts or the essays that we were told to multiple times, while I observed the other kids in my class had it a little bit easier. So for example, the book that we started with by Joan Didion was Slouching Towards Bethlehem. I think I have it here in one of my in my stack right here. So it's basically a collection of essays by her, and the first essay itself, I think it's called Some Dreamers of the Golden Dream. It was about this woman who killed her husband in a car, and that's all I can really remember. And I read whatever books, whatever excerpts we were told to in the class, and I got an A in the class and then pretty much went back to not reading. Actually, I think around graduation time when I was job hunting, I did get back into reading, but it was more self-help books. It wasn't the kind of books that I would have liked to read at that time. So I read books like $1 Million Habits or Fast Track to Your $1 Million. And after that, I kind of fell out of reading again, and that was like the final point of breaking up with reading officially. Except now I'm trying to get back into reading. I mean, I'm only a few years out of college. I'm 23 years and I graduated college at 20, and I want to get back into reading. I asked a friend of mine who is such an amazing reader and reads a lot, and I kind of told her, hey, I want to get back into reading. I want to read these kind of books. I told her I want to read about, being lost in your 20s or starting afresh in your 20s and friendships and families and choosing between family and your life that's happening in a different continent, different country, blah, blah, blah. Just typical 20s, like I want to read more about that. So she told me to start with this book. It's called Convenience Store Women by Sayaka Murata. All I knew was that this book is about a woman who's worked at a convenience store for 18 years and she's, never had a boyfriend. She's never been in a relationship, and she just has this really interesting connection to working her normal banal job, working at the convenience store as she has for 18 years, and she's documenting it. And I was like, this can be true. Like, I know that there's people who work all their lives, you know, at such jobs, but I don't know, it still was such a crazy concept to me. And I flipped to turn to this page, the last page, and I discovered that the writer Sayaka Murata did in fact work at a convenience store for 18 years of her life in Japan. She has won all of Japan's major literary prizes and has been named a Vogue Women of the Year, which is just like so crazy. But I've already gone through half of it, and I think she's such a hilarious and incredible author. I love her writing style. It's so straightforward and simple. So if you're somebody who wants to get back into reading or just get into reading, I would definitely recommend this book if that is something you want to read about. I just think it's such a cool read. I also, before this book, read Normal People by Sally Rooney. I did watch the show before, so, you know, the book was, like, I knew what was coming. But I do think it was a classic case of the book was better than the series or the adaptation, the movie, whatever. But yeah, this video is kind of to document my journey getting back into reading and one day publishing my own book. We'll see. I don't really know how to outro this video, so I'm just gonna end this here.